This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
दोस्तों नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, वड़क्कम, वेलकम. आप सभी का भारत एफएम के इस कार्यक्रम में जिसका के नाम है रूबरू में तहे दिल से स्वागत है और मैं हूं आपका दोस्त और आपका होस्ट आशीष झा. तो दोस्तों आज हमारे इस रूबरू कार्यक्रम में जिस शख्सियत से आप रूबरू होंगे और जिनकी कहानी आप उनकी जुबानी सुनेंगे उनका नाम है के कुमठेकर. Now, Kay is a founder of Happy Bug Academy, online math and science coaching. She is an engineer by training. She completed MS in electrical engineering from California State University. Kay has worked in Telematics Industry over 7 years with Ford Motor Company. After that, she has 15 plus years of experience in academia. She has taught electrical engineering, mathematics, and algebra courses at ITT Tech. She is very passionate about helping students build a strong foundation in math and science that helps them excel in school. So with that, I would like to welcome Kay and get to know her a lot in the next hour. Welcome, Kay. Welcome
Hi.
to Bharat FM.
Hello, thank you, Ashish.
Yeah. So welcome to Rubaru, and we are very honored and we feel proud to have you on our show. So let's get started with knowing you a little more than what we have known so far. So
Sure.
tell us a little bit about your journey right from the beginning. Where were you born? How was your childhood like? A little bit about your early days.
Sure, I would love to. As you said, born and raised in India. I completed my undergrad in electronics and telecommunication from India. And after that, I completed master's in electrical engineering from California State University and worked for Ford Motor Company for 7 years. I was fortunate enough to lead the systems engineering division for the telematics unit for the Bluetooth devices. I worked with Nissan and BMW projects and worked from concept to prototype and absolutely enjoyed my job. After that, to support my family, I decided to work part-time, and that's when I started teaching. And
So we will get to the rest of your life story, but the way we do this is we try to know you right from your childhood days. So
Sure.
tell us a little bit about where in India were you born and
Yeah.
how was your school days? Like as a kid, what kind of kid you were? What kind of student you were when you were growing up?
Sure, I would love to. I was raised in Maharashtra, state of Maharashtra. My father worked for Central Bank of India and we moved a lot. So I have moved quite a few cities in India, Maharashtra, Jalgaon, Aurangabad, Ahmednagar. And childhood, very fortunate. I had a very happy childhood, and my parents, they were always supportive of what we wanted to do. They would encourage us, motivate us. I have been participating all extracurricular activities, gatherings, social gatherings at school, and absolutely enjoyed all the cities that we have traveled to. And then we moved to Aurangabad, and that's where I completed my undergrad engineering courses. After that, I worked for a year in Pune, and I worked for a company called Global Wireless Technology. And
So,
that's
in
when,
your school days, when you were at school, what kind of child you were? What were your dreams when you were growing up?
growing up, I always wanted to do something in engineering. That's, of course, when I started understanding what engineering, medicine, and everything was. And I always was drawn to electronics, engineering, and mathematics mainly after middle school. And I
Okay.
absolutely wanted to do something in that because I loved math. That was not the case during my elementary school years. I did not like math to begin with, but I was fortunate enough to have a math teacher who just changed my perspective about math. And from then on, I just loved it so much so that I decided to make that as the major and study that area. So that is how I decided to go into engineering. And from there on, I just loved math and very passionate about it.
So this is a very good example of getting the right teacher that completely changes your life. Basically, it defines you, and getting the right teacher is so very important. And this is basically for every teacher who is in the teaching profession needs
Yeah,
to understand that what kind of impact they create on kids when they are doing their job. And there is a reason it's called a noble profession, right?
it is.
Uh,
It is.
yeah,
Absolutely. You said it right. I feel the teacher is just not limited to the classroom or school campus. The teachers make such a huge impact that students, when they are even beyond the school hours, they think, oh no, this is what my teacher has said. I'm not going to
right,
do this. I'm going to do this because this is what my teacher has said. So I
right,
feel teachers, it's just not limited to the classroom or the school campus. It does make a huge impact on every student, and it's
right,
just you have to just meet the right teacher, and then just it just clicks.
right. So tell us a little bit about what was so different about that teacher that before him or her, you were not interested in math at all. But what did this teacher do to you that you suddenly started getting interested? What was different about him or her, whoever?
Absolutely. So this teacher was he what he did is you have to understand the concept first, and then you have to practice enough. Many students, what they do is, I understand this concept, I'm going to move on to the next one. But if you don't have enough practice on that, you do not have speed and accuracy.
That's
So
right.
to understanding the concept is one thing, and then having accuracy and speed building upon that is really important, and that is the component that I was missing. I would understand the concept and move on to the new one,
But
but you
practicing was what was missing. Yeah.
exactly, and the confidence that it gives you when you practice enough, the confidence it builds, that is very important.
Right, right. So, as you mentioned that you always wanted to become an engineer and you were very passionate about math and you finally did your engineering from Aurangabad, right?
That's right.
Um, so after engineering, I'm pretty sure you must have started looking for a job. And where did your journey with your job start?
My journey started in Maharashtra, Pune, Maharashtra, and I started working for a company called Global Wireless Technology. And I was fortunate enough to work in all the departments they had, so I had a feeling for what does everyone do, because going out of college, we never knew what is it that you are going to do in real life when you go out and work in the field. So we did not know that. So I've had that opportunity with Global Wireless Technology, and I absolutely cherish that. That built the foundation of where what is it that I want to do further. And that's when I
Okay.
decided to go for graduate studies and work in telecommunications area.
Okay. So, how long did you work in India?
I worked for 1 year.
1 year. And then what happened?
Then I came here, and then I went to California State University. My husband was finishing his school at the Ohio State University, And after he finished his school, then I started my school because we moved to California, and then
Oh,
I did my graduate studies there.
so you did not move here to study that. I mean, it was not that you wanted to do your master's. That's why you moved here. You got married and then you decided to study.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Okay, okay. So what difference did you see studying over here and studying in India?
Huge difference.
Like
There,
what?
there is a huge difference. In India, what happens is you rely so much on that one exam because that's what your score is, and that's what is going to decide if you did good or not. So in case if you, let's say, if you're not feeling well on that day, then it's not going to help you at all. As opposed to that, here they distribute the final grade is distributed over the entire semester. So you have the midterm, you have the assignments, you have the homeworks, you have the quizzes, and then you have the final exam.
Hmm.
So you accumulate your score as you go on.
Hmm.
I had to relearn that process because I was not trained for this process, this system here. In India, you would just study right before the exam and then you are done.
Right.
But here you have to do that throughout the entire semester, and that's what your final grade is. So I had to learn that process all over. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. They focus so much on in-depth understanding of the concept, not just learning it for the exam.
Correct.
And
You're right.
that is what
Yeah, I
I
mean,
absolutely loved.
I have also seen a similar, as you mentioned, that in India, because you have to give that one exam towards the end,
Yeah.
people are just focused on passing the exam and not trying to understand that if you don't understand what you're trying to learn, it's going to come and bite you later in future in your real life.
That is
And for some reason, people forget that. Whereas over here, as you mentioned, they make sure they stress on making sure that you understand the concept more than passing the exam. So yeah,
exactly.
I would completely agree to that. Right. So so how long was that course over here in California?
It took me 2 years to complete the master's degree, and it's
Okay.
very flexible. If you here, it's flexible. In India, we have a set structured program. You have to get through those courses within 4 years. It is really flexible. So I did take one semester off in between. But other than that, the net time was 2 years. It took me 2 years to complete, and then at the end, I had the comprehensive exam where three professors they interview you, and that just covers the curriculum that you study from day one. So
Hmm.
it just
Okay.
it just gives them a perspective that if you should graduate, and
Right.
that is their way of finding out if you should graduate.
Okay.
And that was slightly different than what I did in India.
Okay. So once you completed your master's, what was going on in your head at that time? I mean, of course, looking for a job was the important thing. But how was that journey of finding a job and getting the right job?
Yeah, absolutely. I graduated from California State University, like I said, and my husband had a job in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. So we moved to Michigan, and then I started looking for a job, as just like the process everyone does. And then it was 2000, and I had a job offer from three companies, and Ford Motor Company was very, very appealing because I got to work on the Bluetooth system, and
Oh, very nice.
that was the first of a kind at that time, and that was the first to market that Ford Motor Company had decided to do that, and we did install that on BMW and Nissan, and I worked on that project right from the beginning all the way going into manufacturing.
Very nice. So basically, now, when you look at your car, you feel proud that that Bluetooth system. I know everything about that Bluetooth system, how it works, right?
I
Very
know.
nice.
It is very close to my heart. Every time Bluetooth works, I'm like, yes.
Yes, I know in and out about this, right? Yeah. So, so tell me one thing. as you mentioned that you worked in India for a year,
Yeah,
and then you were working for Ford over here.
yeah.
What was your experience from a job perspective, from an employee perspective? What was the difference between you working in India and you working over here?
There is a difference in that, in the sense, in India I was fresh out of college, so I had a role which was almost a training role. So I went to every department and I worked with every group there. So it was a slightly different role than when I started working with Ford. They with Ford there was very little time, learning time. You hit the ground running because all the OEMs, they have a race about when do they get their product to market. So there is the deadline is very strict, because of course Ford, GM, Chrysler, they there is competition.
Compete, yeah, right.
Who brings the Bluetooth first to the market? I was completely new to the working environment, working in telematics field, but I was just had so many dreams and hopes and everything. And I worked with teams from Japan, Germany, India. Software team was in India. Our voice recognition team was in Boston. We were in Detroit. So in spite of all the time difference, culture difference, everything, we all came together and we worked on that. I absolutely loved working on that. We had language barrier, but we did overcome that. Japan, it's different now, but back in 2000, we always would have an interpreter go with us whenever we travel to Japan. So because
Oh wow.
otherwise, exactly. And we negotiated all the features. For example, phone book, the phone book that you transfer from your phone to your car,
Hmm.
that is one of the many features we worked on. And
Wow. Okay.
imagine working on that with an interpreter, with a team of uh, 20 customer people, and then equal number of us from our side, and then all of us are communicating. But it was absolutely fun. I enjoyed it. That process was just amazing, and I absolutely enjoyed it, and my team was awesome.
How long were you with Ford?
I worked for them for 7 years.
7 years. Wow, that's a
7 years.
long time. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So in those 7 years, I'm pretty sure you learned a lot. You enjoyed your job. Everything was going great.
Yeah.
Then what happened after 7 years?
So after 7 years, my husband started working for a consulting company. He worked for McKinsey, and he used to travel Monday through Thursday. He was gone.
Okay.
And my son was in third grade at that time, and I decided to leave my job and I wanted to work part time so I could support my family. And
Okay.
that is when I transitioned into teaching. I taught algebra at St. Louis Community College, and I taught undergrad engineering courses at ITT Tech, and I absolutely fell in love with teaching.
So that is what I was going to come to that next. But before that, uh,
Uh-huh.
how did you feel leaving your job uh, that you were so passionate about, you were enjoying so much, but then because of the responsibilities, family responsibilities, you had to leave that. What went through your head at that time? How did you feel? Because
It
it's
was
difficult. It's not easy to let go of your passion or let
the,
go of something that you really love doing and
yeah,
then sacrifice it because, well, of course, family is important too. But
true.
but still, how did you feel at that point? How did you make that decision to let it go?
It was a difficult decision. My husband and I, we worked on that. What should we do? How should we do it? And what would be the consequences? And when we thought about that, I thought I would feel really bad if I don't support my family. I thought I can always go back to work.
Hmm. Okay,
That avenue will be always there. May not be the same field, but I can always do something later on. But I will regret if I don't spend enough time with my son and if I don't support him, because those were critical years for him. He
correct.
was doing all swimming, judo, baseball, basketball, how they want to try every single thing. and I
Right.
wanted to be there to take him to those classes and help him. And at the same time, I wanted to help my husband as well. And it
Right.
was our joint decision. We both thought about it a lot, and it was really difficult. One day you have like 200 emails in your inbox, and once I left my job, I'm like, oh, there are no emails in my inbox.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that did,
So that time when you left your job,
yeah.
your in your head it was temporary. You thought that you would always come back after your son grows up a little bit, and then once he is independent, then you will be able to come back. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Uh, so when you did that, you
Uh-huh.
started focusing on your son.
Yeah.
But at what point did you decide that, hey, let me try teaching? Let me give it a shot. At what point did you decide that?
I have been after I left my job, I worked on my diploma in general administration, and I wanted to go into teaching. I wanted to having my own academy has been my dream, and I
Oh,
wanted
really?
absolutely.
You always had a dream of having your own academy?
I always wanted to teach, and that was in my system. I just did not know until I was working with Ford Motor Company. During the day, you are just busy with your work, and especially because I loved it so much, I didn't think about anything else.
Right, right.
But when I had the time, and when I was able to think, what is it that I want to do now? That's when I really wanted to teach, and I have been teaching since 2007 after I left my job. I have
Okay.
been teaching.
So before you move on, let me ask you this.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it that math teacher that inspired you to get into teaching, or is it something else? What is your
One
story behind being so passionate about teaching?
that's what I wanted to share with you. I feel someone helped me, and that became my career. So
Hmm.
I want to do the same thing for someone else.
Okay.
And if you talk to my students, I mean, they will say this, that this is what I always. Every student is unique, and
Hmm.
I feel I have learned to read them, and I can help them. I have so much to offer, and that is what made me think, why not do this? So I
Right.
have always been thinking about it, and someone else did that to me. I just want to reciprocate it.
Very nice. So you did your diploma in general administration after you left your job, right?
After I left my job, I did because
So
I
you were
wanted.
taking care, yeah, you were taking care of your son and studying at the same time.
I did,
Okay.
yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did that
That
certification take?
that was a 1 year course that I
One
did.
year
I
course.
Yeah, I completed that, and then at the same time, I was teaching students just on a small scale basis. They would come to me to learn on a regular
Home.
basis, but
At
not
home.
at home, yeah. But it was not as big as this one.
Okay.
And then I have been teaching, and then I thought to myself, I'm so passionate about it. I enjoy it. I can help them. Then why not look for a job in academia? And that's when I got the math teaching at St. Louis Community College.
Yeah, so that was my next question. So after you completed your course, uh, you instead of starting your own academy right there,
Yeah,
you initially decided to get some experience, I'm assuming, right?
exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
and that is when you joined, what was the name of the college again? Sorry.
St. Louis Community College,
St. Louis Community College. And where is this?
St. Louis,
This
Missouri.
is in St. Louis. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
So you were
yes.
in St. Louis at that time when
At that
you
time,
completed.
yes, at that time we moved to Missouri for my husband's job, and then I started looking for a job. I wanted to teach. I wanted to teach math, so that's when I started looking for a job. And this I saw this, and I thought, let me apply for this job. And the dean was really nice. She loved it. She loved my resume. She loved my experience. And the thing she said is, because I have a background from a corporate world and I have the teaching credentials, so she thought that would help a lot when I'm in front of all these 30 students in the class standing and teaching. Students, they want to find out, where am I going to use this in real life, the
Correct.
information. teaching. So that's what she realized, that I could bring both those together and I can share that with my students.
Okay. So here you are with your degree, and this is your first day at
Yeah.
that college, St. Louis Community College. Can you tell us a little bit about your first day when you entered that room with 30 students in the class? What
That is
was going through your head?
that was that was a scary situation. And the students, they range age from 18 to 40. So
Correct. Yes.
there is no age range. And I have been teaching up until that point. I had been teaching only students
Mm.
pre-K to 10th grade. So that was a scary situation. The only thing I knew, that I will be able to explain the question. I know math, so I knew that I'll be able to do that, and I that was all on my side. And then I decided to just jump right in and then do it. But the students, they were very nice, and I absolutely loved all of them, and they wanted to learn things. Some of them, they go through so many situations, life situations, but they're still there, and that kind of motivated me, that if they are there to learn, I have to make sure I do my part. I have to make sure I teach them, and then they can use it somewhere. So
Right.
that kept me going.
All right. So, I mean, of course, there are a lot of challenges as a teacher when you enter that classroom, right?
Yeah.
Um, with 30 students over there, you know for sure that focusing on each and every student individually is not possible,
That is
right?
right.
Uh, how do you manage when you have few students who might not be up to mark, because everybody is different, right? I mean, everybody take their own time to
That's
understand certain things. Uh, how did you manage those kids who are not so up to the mark, I would say, where they are not able to grasp everything that you are saying, and they need more time. But at the same time, if you give more time to them, you might not be able to complete your syllabus. You might not be able to be on track with the target that you have, right?
that's
How do you balance that?
And that is the key. That is the really important thing, because there will be students in your class. Some of them are ahead of the schedule, and some of them are barely trying to get to the level where they need to be. And that is the key. A teacher will have to figure out, how do you manage that. And I have had those situations. I would always, if someone is done with their work, then I would give them more work. Hey, why don't you try this? And every time there is a textbook, because I have used it, I know what lessons and what examples this particular student can work on, and what is it that I need to help this student with. Because I have been with them for that entire semester, I learn and I read them where they might need help. Sometimes I might even go to their desk, because I knew they would need help.
Need help?
Because
Okay.
I have been reading them, and I know, and I also know to the extent that I have to use, for example, for a certain example, there are 2 3 ways you can solve it.
Hmm.
Because I have been with those students, I know that this way, approach number one will be easier for this student, maybe this will be easier for this student. So
Oh,
that is absolutely the key. For example, when you are dividing numbers, I know I which student I can tell, hey, you can simplify this and then solve it. But I know this other student, I have to show him all the steps. And
hmm.
that's just how you learn and how you read your students, and that is the key. Because
So
you want
knowing
to
your class is the key, knowing your students is the key, and you have
knowing.
to accordingly change your style based on the
Exactly.
class that you are teaching, right? You
Exactly.
have to be able. Hmm.
Knowing your students and knowing the material. Because
Oh yeah, of course.
if you know there are these many ways, then you know you need to help, you know which students you will have to help. And then you just
Right.
go and help them. The key is to make them feel comfortable and give them that confidence that I can do this.
Correct. Correct.
And
Now,
yeah.
right. Even after doing all this, giving your level best to make sure that students get what they want, and you are giving more than 100%. has there ever been a situation where you have been criticized for the way you teach? And if yes, uh, how did you handle that? Because from your side, you are doing everything possible to make sure that you are giving your best. But sometimes people just don't understand you, and it is possible that they might criticize you for the way you teach. Has that happened to you? If it has not happened to you, then you don't need to explain, of course.
Yeah,
But
no,
has
no.
that happened to you?
Honestly, I'll say that has not happened to me yet. Hopefully, it will
Very nice.
not. And the reason I want to say is because I had one student in my class, and she was a lady in her 40s, and she just did not understand math.
Oh,
Absolutely. And so many times she would be literally in tears that I don't understand. But at that time, the key is your approach to them.
mhm.
If you understand their situation and without being judgmental, if you help them, they feel that closeness and they feel
Mm.
that bond with you, so they
That's right.
always look up to you. And so many times, so for example, I have 30 students in the class and I am not going to be able to help each and everyone. So many times my students, they would go and help another student because they see that I'm helping someone else.
Very nice.
So I
That's right.
absolutely, honestly, I did not have that situation. I loved my students. You won't believe it. One student, he had his son in the hospital in emergency. He still came to take the final exam, and I was asking him, you go do whatever you need to do. I'll make sure I'll talk to the dean. I'll do it. But he said, no, no, no. I don't want to get you in trouble. I want to do this final exam, and then I can always go back. I have someone taking care of this. They are there to help you, they are there to learn, and they want to help you teach them. I
Okay.
that's what has been with me. My students, they would absolutely ask me, Professor K, what is the course you are teaching next semester? I want to take that course. So they
Mm.
won't register
Very nice.
until they found out the course that, and this was undergrad engineering students, so they were not little elementary kids who would not
Correct.
understand. So they
Correct.
knew
No,
what they were doing.
these are the kind of validations that you need, which keeps you motivated, which keeps you encouraged, right?
Yeah,
Because it makes you feel that you are on the right track and
exactly.
you continue doing what you are passionate about. So, how long were you with that college?
I was with St. Louis College, I want to say for 2 years, I think.
2 years. Okay.
2 years, yeah. And after that, we moved to Cincinnati. And that's when I again started looking for a job.
So, in those 2 years, is it only math that you taught, or was there any other subject that you were teaching?
No,
It was math.
algebra. Yeah, I taught algebra at that college. And that's all I did there. But then after we moved to Cincinnati, then I started working at ITT Tech. And absolutely, my dean is just absolutely amazing. I'm still in touch with him and he still guides me.
So, you
So
you continue teaching math at ITT Tech?
ITT Tech, I did teach math to engineering students, and I also taught undergraduate engineering courses for
Okay. All right.
electrical engineering. Yes,
Okay. And how long was that? How long did you teach over there?
I did ITT Tech for, I want to say, 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, did Happy Bug Academy happen after 2.5 years, or what
After
happened after 2.5 years?
we again kept thinking a lot. We thought a lot about, should we go for a franchise, what should we do, and then I researched a lot of franchise options that are out there. But I wanted to do something with my own process
Okay.
because I knew it has been working, it has been helping students, and I just feel so passionate about it. So I wanted to do something where I will have the freedom to pick my process.
Hmm.
And it has been helping because so many students would come to me with a B minus, and then after I work with them for some time, now they have been maintaining an A plus. And I
Very nice.
knew it's absolutely, so it's just the happiness I get out of it is just so
Right.
big and huge that I wanted to stick to my process, and I
Right.
wanted to have that freedom. So that's when I decided that I want to do the Happy Bug Academy, and we just
Okay.
thought, let's just
So,
jump right in.
So ITT Tech was also undergrad students, right?
That was, I did teach undergrad students, yes.
Okay. But when you were thinking about having your own Happy Bug Academy, did you have in mind what age range you were looking at? What kind of students you wanted to teach?
I did know that I wanted to teach early pre-K through 10th grade. I knew about that because that's when they build their foundation.
Correct. I was about to come to that. That because my next question was going to be that, like, after teaching undergrad students for like maybe 4 or 5 years, um, what made you think that instead of teaching undergrad students, you move into the kids from the primary to the 12th grade? And as you mentioned, the foundation is everything. If you get your
Exactly.
foundation right, then the rest of the life is much easier.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if they understand this, that you have to understand the concept and then you practice it enough, they just start loving it. And
Right.
my goal is to give them the confidence and actually help them fall in love with the learning process,
Correct.
because it's not just limited to math or science. They are going to take these study habits onto their college journey.
Hmm.
Not just that, they will take these habits into their work environment.
Right. Right.
So
That's true.
that's where I wanted to help, and that's where I thought I can add value. So that's why I decided to do pre-K through 10th grade.
Okay.
And still thinking, I'm still in the process thinking of going beyond 10th grade, but that is still
Okay.
in the process.
Okay. So at what point did you start Happy Bug Academy?
I
Which
started
year?
happy last year. I started last Happy
Oh,
Bug
you
Academy.
started. Oh,
I
okay. Oh, I
Yes,
see.
yes, yes.
So after ITT Tech, was there something else that you did before starting Happy Bug Academy?
I did work for Cintas in Mason.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I did work
Which
for
was
them,
which was not academia then, which
which
was
was not, which was
corporate
not,
office, right?
which was not academia, but it did give me a really strong foundation in customer service.
Oh, okay. I see.
I
Okay.
worked there, and it did. I learned a lot about customer service there because that was the component that I was missing in my previous experience. And
Hmm.
I did learn a lot there and absolutely loved it. And we moved here. So then I decided, let me do this because I have had this dream for a
Okay.
long time. So
So you mentioned you started this last year, and
yeah,
everybody knows how last year has been, right?
true,
It
true.
has been very, very difficult.
It
So
has been.
which month did you start after the pandemic started, or did you start before the pandemic?
I started so Happy Pug Academy officially June 16th. The anniversary is coming up now. And
Oh,
that's when
okay. So you started during the pandemic. Okay.
during the pandemic. And the reason is I saw so many students struggling
Hmm.
because everything just went online. And the teachers are trying their best to help these kids, but they are torn between online and face to face.
Right.
There is only so much they can do. And I thought I can really help during this situation. And if I help students not lose their attention and not lose any education during this period, I thought that would be a big, great help. And that's when I decided that this is what I want to do. The right time, this would be the right time. Fortunately, everything worked out because I do teach online, and students, they just have been amazing with online tools and Zoom and everything.
Right. Right. So because you was it because you started during the pandemic that you decided to go online, or you always wanted to do this online, irrespective of whether pandemic was there or not?
Because of the pandemic, I did it online.
Okay. All right. So now because you have taught students face to face in
Yeah.
colleges and at ITT Tech and at St. Louis, uh, you can easily describe the difference between teaching people face to face and then teaching online. What are the challenges? First of all, let's talk about the challenges.
Right, right. The challenges are people feel. If you start with the negative thing in mind that I will not be able to do this, then it's adapting to this process is harder.
Hmm.
So if someone starts with a positive approach in mind that I can do this, then it's easier to adapt. And I
Hmm.
just read in New York Times that they said that online education is here to stay, even
Well, of
after
course.
even
Yeah.
after the pandemic. So
Pandemic.
my,
Yeah, I know.
right, so
Hmm.
I
Right.
thought if you start with a positive approach, the process is easier.
Hmm. Okay.
I feel students they have a better control of their learning process because they are hands on. what
Hmm.
i do is I teach them, and then because we can share screen, they work on those examples, and we both are there on the I see their screen, and they are the ones doing those calculations and entering, and then they right away know that they did it right or wrong.
Right.
So they have a better control of their learning process.
Hmm.
And what I see is because everything is online, I can track progress. Because
Hmm.
what I teach them during the session, I assign them homework based on that concept. And they work on that during the week before they meet me the next time, for the
Okay.
next session. And I can see every single thing online, these many examples. They worked on, let's say, 40 examples. They missed, let's say, 4 out of those. So
Hmm.
when I start my session, I go over those 4 examples first.
Oh, okay.
So they don't just move on. I want them to know what they missed. That way they can recover from that.
Right. Right. That's a
And
very good
that
idea.
and that
Hmm.
would have been harder in face to face.
Hmm. You're right. That is
So
true.
that is what is helping. Another thing I feel that they need to learn this process because we are becoming a global workspace now.
Of course. Yeah. Hmm.
It's not limited just to your team or your company. We
Hmm.
are global now, and then if they learn this process early on, it will definitely help them later
Hmm.
on when they start working.
That is
And I,
true.
and I also feel if the parents have positive approach toward it, let them know it's okay to have questions, let them know it's okay not to know some of the things. Sometimes
Hmm.
the connection may not work, sometimes your microphone may not work. It's okay, you just need to find solution, and then you can work on that.
Hmm. Okay. So
So
initially, when you started Happy Bug Academy, how many students did you have at that point when you started?
when I started I had 5 students.
Okay. And how
And
many do you have now?
I have 35 students now.
Oh, very nice. Awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations to you. You've done a
thank
wonderful
you,
job.
thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I have
So how,
students. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. No, I was going to ask you, so how do you schedule the classes? If you're taking primary to 10th grade, I mean, you must be really busy on a daily basis, right?
I am super busy. Today I had 9 sessions before
Oh,
this.
wow.
Yes, it's
So
yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you schedule these classes and what is the criteria if somebody wants to join these classes? How can they do that?
What I do is, of course, my information is available on happybugacademy.com, and they reach out to me from there. People reach out to me from Facebook, LinkedIn, all the places. What I do is when a student joins Happy Bug Academy, we go through a diagnostic test
Okay.
because a student in 6th grade could be ahead of the schedule or maybe not even at 6th grade level. So what
Mm-hmm.
I want to find out is where they are at.
Correct.
And because my individual approach for every student, I can do that. And once I find out where they are at, I place them in that grade level. And then we start working on from there to help them excel.
Okay.
And
Okay.
what I do is I have students all over. I have students in Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Chicago, San Francisco. I have one student in England.
So that's a very interesting thing. So because while you were talking about this, there were some questions that came to my mind.
Huh?
Uh, when it comes to syllabus, how do you manage if somebody like the student from UK?
Yeah.
What is the difference between the syllabus that student has and the students over here in the US? Is there any
Basic
difference, first of all?
basic concept is the same.
Same. Okay.
You are going to learn quadratic equation in this grade, you are going to learn binomial theorem in this grade, so the basic concept is the same. And for me, because I know where that student is in all those grade levels, it doesn't matter to me what grade level they are in at UK, right? Because if she's doing awesome, she's actually doing phenomenal. So she's ahead of her schedule. So then I give her that material. I give her that
Okay.
syllabus and that curriculum, and that's what I work with her on those topics.
Okay. Okay. So it's basically not following the syllabus of the school. You basically work with the student on where they are and then accordingly help them move further in their journey.
Actually, I do follow the school and the state syllabus very closely.
Okay.
I just work with them from where they are at for that state.
Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. So you do look at the syllabus and then accordingly move. Okay. Okay. I see.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do work. Every state has their own curriculum. Ohio has their own, Georgia has their own. So I do follow the syllabus closely. However, I want the students to work from where they are at, not
Ah,
just work at the grade that they are at school. So help them excel so they go from there from where they are at.
okay. Okay. Well, one thing I would say, I mean, again, moving from 5 to 35 in such a short period of time, amazing job, Kay. That is amazing.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Tell us a little bit about the challenges that you are having at this point and how you are thinking of overcoming them.
The challenge I feel right now is my time is limited
Hmm.
because I have only so many hours in a day. I want to help as many students as I can.
Hmm.
And the only thing I am trying to figure out right now is I have only so many hours. I'm also preparing for my summer modules. We are offering two fun and learn series is one option, and the other one is Jumpstart Math. What I want to
Okay.
do with all my students is work on those critical topics for the next grade level in summer. So
Okay.
I am putting together that program. So because of my limited number of hours, I am in the process of hiring. I want to hire someone who can help me put this together and then help me with the process and then go from there. So
Okay.
that's my only.
So that was my next question. Is it a one woman show right now or do you have help?
Right now it is,
It is.
but
Okay.
I am hiring right now. If I can find someone, that will be awesome.
Oh, awesome. Well, good luck and best wishes to you on that for sure.
Thank you.
Uh, do you limit the number of students in each class?
I right now it's all one on one.
Oh, every class is one-on-one. So
Every class is
for
one-on-one.
35 students, you are spending 35 hours per student
Actually,
per week
actually, I'm spending 50 hours.
because some students might be taking more than an hour to learn, basically.
They are, and also because I prepare for their lesson plans. Because before I join the session, I find out what all they have worked on and what is it that they need to do. So
Wow.
that,
So this is
that
one-on-one session. That's
right now,
amazing.
right now this is one on one. Yes.
Wow. So now, just because you mentioned this, something just came to my mind, and I think I should ask you that.
Yeah.
When you hire someone,
Uh-huh.
right? When you hire someone, yes, you are getting the help. But to maintain the same process of teaching or the 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 knack of teaching, basically, it's a
Yeah.
skill, right?
That
Teaching
is
is a skill.
that is
Uh, how do you make sure that whatever you have been doing, that same kind of quality continues with the person whom you are hiring? And how would you keep that in check?
Absolutely, that is a really critical point because I heard it somewhere that hire well. If you want to grow, you have to make sure the people you are hiring, they want to do it because they are passionate about it. And that is when you interview with them, you that's when you read them.
Hmm. Okay.
they if they are doing it because they are passionate about it, because you have to want to help this child.
Right.
You have to feel it at your core that I want to help this child. And doesn't matter, the child can be absolutely double honors algebra or someone who is struggling,
Hmm.
but without judging them, you have to help them. You have to help them find they can do this. You have to help them build their confidence. So you will need a person who is so passionate about this, and plus they need to know teaching, because you
Hmm. Of
have
course.
you may know how to do solve a quadratic equation, but you have to know how to teach them.
Hmm. Agree.
So
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
is what I'm going to absolutely make sure in the during
Hmm.
the interview process. That is the plan.
So, when when you have somebody who comes in and who starts teaching, uh, what I'm just trying to think how to put this. How how can students? So, are the students coming into you because they need help, or are they coming because they just want to get better at? Basically, they understand everything what is going on at school, but they want to sharpen their skills. They want to get better at what they are doing. So, what kind of students do you get usually?
I have both the kinds.
Oh, okay.
They yes. So some of the students, they understand that hey, I'm struggling,
Hmm.
I need help. And those are the students, I have them and I help them get to the grade level they are at. And because everything is online, I can see their work and I know these are the categories they need help with. And I work
Okay.
exactly on those categories with them. And that's how I help them get to the grade level. And I also have students who are doing absolutely phenomenal. The way they do math is just like amazing.
Okay.
You won't believe it. I have two students. They are in third grade at school, but with me, they are working on fifth grade material
Wow.
and they are
That
excelling at it.
wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And tell me one thing. Do you prepare the entire material for all these classes?
I have subscribed to those websites and I have
Okay.
purchased licenses. And then when they join Happy Bug Academy, I give them their username and password. And that's
Okay.
where they do all their homework. I do teach them the concepts when I'm teaching them, but the homework and everything, they do it online.
Okay, okay. So you're subscribed to something which basically takes care of that material part as
Their
okay,
homework and practice, that
and
part of it.
everything. Okay.
Yeah,
Now from the technology perspective, how do you do this? Do you use Zoom or what kind of technology do
I do
you
use
use?
Zoom.
Okay,
I do use Zoom, and then I have these usernames and passwords. So my students, they get one username and password, and I just give them work. For example, some of my 10th graders, they are double
mm,
honors algebra. So for them, I pull the material myself, and then I share it with them. And then I work with them on the homework and quizzes that they have going on at school. So I work very closely with what they are working on at school. So many times I have students scheduling extra sessions because I have a test this week. Can we get together? And these are the topics.
oh, okay, all right, interesting. So, Kay, you mentioned one thing that online studying or online schooling is here to stay. That's the future, right? So, where do you see this going? Would it ever happen that you will not have this physical schools at all and the entire schooling happens online? Do you see that coming at
That
all?
that may not be right away in the near future because they still need to do some of the science experiments, labs. They need to do that. However, having said that, I will also say this: many of my students, their teachers have done those experiments and they have those videos. So the students, they watch those videos and they have been making their notes and writing their reports based on those videos, watching those things. So they have been doing that. So I
Hmm.
don't think it is too far. And there are so many virtual science labs online where you can
Oh,
literally mix things together. You measure it, you do the mixing and see the results and everything. There are so many websites. So I don't think it is too far to say that we might be online. In fact, Gwinnett County here, they have started this program, Gwinnett County Online. They have all the material available online, and the
hmm,
students can do it. Of course, there are deadlines. They have to do those units before the deadline, but the students, if the material is available to them, they can reach out to the teachers if they need help.
I see. Okay. Well,
So,
one thing I still felt though that even though these experiments are available online, you can see them,
right,
but the feeling of holding a beaker in your hand,
and
it's different, right? I mean, you that can never happen online. To me, I mean, I feel that like dissection when it comes to biology, when you're dissecting something,
that's
how
true.
can you do that when you're doing it online? I mean, those are the things that I always surprises me. That yes, online will be there, but I at least I feel that the physical school, being at the school and experiencing yourself doing something like the practical purposes,
True, true.
the practicals is something that I feel that that will always stay there because
That is, yeah,
uh,
that is.
yeah, so those things will still be there. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have 4 minutes left, Kay, and it has been a very wonderful discussion. I have definitely enjoyed it. I am pretty sure our viewers have enjoyed it too. There are a lot of comments. I have been not focusing on them, but I'm pretty sure you will get to read them after we are done with this session.
Yes.
What I wanted to know from you is um, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, maybe?
My dream is to make Happy Bug Academy as big as I can.
Okay.
I, I also want to. We just did online quiz party. We did a talent show, and the students, they absolutely loved it. So I want to build this community and make it as big as I can. I also want to create a platform for students to represent themselves, give them the leadership qualities, take control of their growth and development basically. I want
Okay.
them to feel that they want to do this and just develop the love for learning in them. I think if I can do that, that will be my dream come true.
Awesome. Very, very, very well said, Kay. Well, should I say Kay or Shraddha? I am seeing Shraddha all over the place in the comments.
Either way, it's fine. Some people call me, my own name is Shraddha, but
Okay.
I
All right.
made just a little bit story behind that is because at ITT Tech they used to call me Professor K because my last name starts with
Oh,
K.
okay. Okay.
So then I thought they couldn't say my first name, last name. So I thought,
Oh,
why not just make that as my first name? So that's where K comes from.
okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
So one last question for you.
Yeah.
Is this meant for any student anywhere in the world, or is it focused mainly for students in the US?
Right now, currently, I'm focused for the US, but because I'm online, and even in the future, I am going to be face to face as well as online. Because of my ability to do it online, it is open for the whole world.
Okay. So anybody can reach out to you anywhere in the world and
Absolutely.
sign themselves up and start their courses.
Yes, yes.
How now this might be funny, but how would you manage the time zone? There are some countries in this world which might be awake while you are sleeping. How would you
That's
manage that?
I'm just going to make it 24/7 operations.
Well, good luck and best wishes to you on that. Before we end our show, any last few words that you would like to talk about that I might have missed?
Absolutely. I mean, you covered everything, but I just want to say that I'm very passionate about this. I'm super excited about the summer camp I'm offering online. I have absolutely wonderful topics. For example, public speaking, financial literacy. Do you want to be an engineer? So many times students, they want to be an engineer, but they don't know what to do in that. So
Hmm.
I have these 1 week modules, and on Friday, so they do the online camp Monday through Thursday, and Friday there will be report and presentation and public speaking. We will just go over all the things, do's and don'ts. I want them to be ready when they go out in the field, not wait to learn something while they're working. So I have designed those modules very closely with that view in mind. And then I also have jumpstart math because I want my students to feel confident when the school year starts. So I just want everyone to start the summer strong. And please do give me a call if you would like to take any of the modules. And absolutely, I would love to share the information if anyone likes to.
Thank you very much, Kay Urf Shraddha. Thank you very much for your time and helping us understand you better and your passion and your life journey. Thanks for sharing that with us. With that, we come to the end of our show, and we wish you good luck and best wishes for your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one of its kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.